Hi and welcome to Coding Ultimate Guide. In this tutorial, we are going to learn range function in Python. The Python range function returns the sequence of the given number between the given range. The most common use of it is to iterate sequence type of range, list, string, tuple, etc. with for and while loop using Python. So later we will discuss about for loop and while loop. So the syntax of range is range, then we use start, stop, and step. So we'll later discuss about start, stop, and step. So these all are the parameter of range function. So let's discuss about parameter of range function. Let's talk about start. So the start is an integer starting from which the sequence of integers is to be returned. So for example, if I have a range, for example here, for I in the range, so if I will say 10, if I will run this sequence, it will give me the, that is from 0 to 10. So the 10 to the 10 means that will be the number 10 minus 1, that will be 9. So always number written in the range function, that will be n minus 1. So here the, if I will return the one parameter, so that will be treated at the stop. So here the start button, if I provide a start button, then I should end with the stop button. So here stop parameter is integer before which the sequence of integer is to be returned, the range of integers, and at stop minus 1. As I told you that that should be our stop minus 1 or n minus 1. The n is our stop. So here for example, I have a range between 1 to 10. If I will print the number, then it will show me the number between 1 to 9, because the stop button will count 10 minus 1, that will be our 9. If I run this, it will give us the number between 1 to 9. And the step is the integer value which determine the increment between each integer in the sequence. So let's talk about in the graph. Here the range function, if I count from, if my range is 0 to 10 and the step is 1, that means the sequence between the number between the sequence, so that number will be count from 0 to 9, and stop will be count 10 minus 1, that will be up to 9. And the one step means that is the difference between the number. So here 1 means that is the increment number, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 9. So here, for example, if I give 1 to 10 the range, it will count from 1 to 9. So if I pass the step here, let's say for 1, it will also give me the same number, because 1 treat as a number from, that will be as an increment of 1. But on this, it will increment the of 1. It will set the 2, it will increment the number 2. So it will give me the output 1 3 5 7 and up to 9, because 9 is my stop. So here, so let's talk about the more deeply. What is the use of range function in Python? In simple term, the range function allows us the user to generate a series of numbers within a given range, depending on how many arguments the user is passing to the function. So range stop takes one argument. So as I discuss here, that if my one argument is passed inside the range function, so that will be treated as a stop parameter. So as this rule is that stop parameter or takes in one argument. Let's talk about the range start stop. So this all, whenever a start parameter pass, that should be a stop parameter. So that means that takes two arguments inside the range function. And if you will pass the step parameter, that should be the three arguments. That should be contain start, stop, and step. And next move to the, so as I seen you in this, for example, so here is my stop. If I print this, it will print the number between the 0 to 9. So if I will give a start, so that should be my end, that will make 10. If I give, it will give me the same output. If I give the range, let's say 3, it will increment the 3 up to 9. So that will be 0, 3, 6, 9. So let's move to the next one, Python range stop. So when the user call range with one argument, the user will get series of number that start at 0 and includes every whole number up to, but not including the number that user has provided at the start. So for example, so I'm printing the first six character, so or first six letters. So that will be my whole number. So here I'm trying to do the first six letter. So that means the six is here is passing as a stop parameter in range function. So if I run this, it will give me the output as a 0 to 5. As I told you that 6 is count as a 6 minus 1, that will be or give the number between 0 to 5. And next move to the Python range start and stop. So as I told you in the here that if I start with the start parameter, then I should end with the stop parameter. So that takes a two argument. So here, when the user calls the range with two arguments, the user gets to decide not only where the series of numbers stops, but also where it starts. So the user don't have to start at 0 at all the times. So user can use range function to generate a series of numbers from x to y using the range. The parameter should be x and y. That x means the start and y means that stop. So here that means that we do not we don't need to start the 0. So that if we want to start the specific number, so let's say I'm starting with the 5 number and I want to print the natural number between the 5 and 20. So I can start from any number as I want, but that should be less than the stop number. So here I'm giving an example that my start number is my 5 and stop number is my 20, and I'm trying to print the number between 5 to 20. So that will be the number between 5 to 20. That just note that here that 20 will be not count, because that will be 20 minus 1. If I give the number, that will be 57 and 19 up to 19. So if I give the step here, step 2, it will increment via 2. If I run this, it will increment via 2. So it will the number will 5, 7, 9, 11 up to 19. Okay. So and next will be Python range, and that the three parameters is here. And if I use the step parameter, and there should be the start and stop parameter. So when the user call range function with three arguments, the user can choose not only where the series of numbers will start and stop, but also how big the difference will be between one number and the next. So if the user does not provide a step, then range function will automatically behave as its step is 1. So for example, if I will not print here, that if I not provide the step here, so it will automatically increment via 1. So as I in the, so here behave as a step is 1. So for example, so if I will not provide the here 1, so it will not provide any step parameter, it will behave like the our increment should be 1. So here if I run this, it will print me the number between 0 to 9. So that will be automatically treated as a one step parameter. So if I provide the 2, that means our number is treated as a increment as a via 2. If I run this, it print me the 0 to 8, 0 to 4, 6, 8. Okay. So let's give a for example. So incrementing the range using the positive step. So if a user wants to increment, then the user needs to steps to be a positive number. So for example, I'm taking the number between 0 to 30, and I am doing increment 4. If I run this, it will increment the 4 numbers. That will be, if I will run this program, then it will give me the 0, 4, 8, 14, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So that will be increment by a 4. So next example, Python range using negative step. If a user wants to decrement, then the user needs to steps to be a negative number. So here as I told you that if a number start with 25, that means our number is bigger than the step limit. So it will be count where if that is my step is negative, then you can pass the bigger the that will be start, and that should be the lesser the step limit. So and the my step limit should be the negative number. So if I run this, it will give me the output 25, 23, 21 up to 3 by decrement of -2 or decrement of 2. You can say decrement of 2. So this is the example of using the range function, positive and negative, and also increment. So we must use the range function using the for loop and also while loop. So later we will discuss about for loop and while loop in the coming tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.